Hello, everyone. Welcome back to English Conversation Practice Podcasts. We're really happy to have you here again, learning English through real conversations. I'm Molly.
Hi, Mali. Hi, everyone. I'm Jack, and I'm here as always to practice my English with you.
Today, we're going to have a simple and natural conversation about everyday English in real life. Today, we're going to talk about today's topic. It's something very common in daily life.
Really? I think I do it every day, but maybe not very well.
Well, today's topic is family. Just talking about your family in English.
Oh, that's actually a good one. I talk about my family a lot, but usually in Chinese. In English, I kind of freeze up.
Why do you freeze up?
I don't know. Maybe because I don't have the right words. Like, how do you say the youngest child or the person who takes care of everyone?
The youngest child is just the youngest. And someone who takes care of everyone, we'd probably say they're the glue of the family. It kind of holds everyone together.
Oh, that's a nice expression. The glue of the family. I like that.
Yeah, it's a nice image, right? Okay, let's start from the beginning of your day. What's your family like in the morning?
Honestly? Chaos. Total chaos.
Ha! Tell me more.
So my alarm goes off at 6:30, but I always hit snooze. Then my mom starts knocking on my door at like 6:45, telling me I'm gonna be late.
That sounds familiar. Does she do that every single day?
Every single day. It's kinda our little routine now. She knocks, I say 5 more minutes, and then she comes back 5 minutes later.
So it's a pattern between you two.
Yeah, exactly. And then downstairs, my dad's already making coffee, my little sister is fighting with the bathroom mirror trying to do her hair, and it's just loud.
It sounds lively, though, in a good way.
It is actually. I didn't think about it like that before, but yeah, it's lively.
What about breakfast? Do you all eat together?
Sometimes. My mom always wants us to eat together, but honestly, half the time we're just grabbing toast and running out the door.
So there's a bit of a conflict there. She wants a sit-down breakfast, but everyone's rushing.
Exactly. That's actually one of our family's biggest problems, if I'm honest. Nobody has time in the morning.
That's a really common problem, actually. A lot of families struggle with that. Do you ever talk about it as a family?
Sometimes. My mom brings it up like once a month. We never eat breakfast together anymore. And we all say, yeah, and then nothing changes.
Ha, that sounds very real. So it's a repeating problem, not really solved.
Yeah, pretty much a repeating problem.
Okay, quick correction here. You said it's a repeating problem, not really solved. That's understandable, but a more natural way to say it is, it's an ongoing problem that never really gets solved.
Oh, ongoing. I like that word.
Yeah, ongoing is great for things that keep happening without stopping. An ongoing problem, an ongoing project, an ongoing conversation.
Got it. An ongoing problem. I'll remember that.
Good. Now, let's move to the afternoon. Are you in touch with your family during the day?
Kind of. I text my mom sometimes, just quick things like, did you eat lunch? That kind of thing.
That's sweet. Do you call or just text?
Mostly text. My family isn't really big on phone calls during the day, but my grandma, she calls me every afternoon, every single day, around 2 p.m.
Wow, every day? What does she talk about?
Honestly, sometimes nothing important. She just wants to hear my voice. She'll ask what I ate, if I'm sleeping enough, stuff like that.
That's really touching, actually.
It is. But I'll admit, sometimes I'm busy at work, and I kind of rush her off the phone, and after, I feel bad about it.
That's a really honest thing to share. I think a lot of people feel that guilt.
Yeah, it's like she has all this time, and I don't, and it creates this little gap between us.
That's a really good way to describe it, a gap. Did you ever talk to your parents about that gap, about feeling too busy?
Not really. It's more like an unspoken thing.
An unspoken thing, yes. That's a great expression, by the way. Something that everyone feels but nobody says out loud.
Right, exactly that.
Okay, so we found problem number 2 here. Not enough time to connect during the day, especially with grandparents.
Yeah, that's a real one for me.
Let's go back to something you said earlier about your sister. You mentioned her fighting with the mirror in the morning. Are you too close?
We are, but we also argue a lot.
What do you argue about?
Small stuff, mostly. Like she borrows my stuff without asking. Or she thinks I'm too serious, and I think she's too, how do you say, careless?
Careless works, or you could say carefree, which is a bit more positive. Careless means not careful, which can sound negative. Carefree means relaxed and easygoing.
Oh, carefree sounds nicer. Yeah, she's carefree. Maybe too carefree.
That's a nice way to put it. So, sibling disagreements, is that a big deal in your family or just small daily stuff?
Mostly small stuff, but sometimes it gets bigger. Like last year, we had a huge fight about who was going to take care of our grandma when she got sick.
Oh, that sounds serious. What happened?
I thought I was doing more, and she thought she was doing more, and we ended up not talking for like 2 weeks.
2 weeks? That's a long time for siblings not to talk.
Yeah, looking back, it was silly. We were both stressed and scared about Grandma, and instead of supporting each other, we took it out on each other.
That's a really mature way to reflect on it now. So that's problem number 3, right? Family stress leading to conflict between siblings.
Yeah, exactly. Stress makes us argue instead of talk.
That's such a common pattern in families, honestly. Stress comes in, and instead of pulling together, people push apart.
That's a good way to say it, pulling together, pushing apart.
Quick correction here, by the way. Earlier you said we took it out on each other. That's actually correct. That's a great phrasal verb. Take it out on someone means to express your anger at someone even though they're not really the cause.
Oh, really? I used it correctly.
You did. Nice job. I just wanted to explain it for listeners.
Oh, perfect. I thought I made a mistake.
No mistake there. But here's a small one. Earlier you said we ended up not talking for 2 weeks, which is fine, but a more natural version is we didn't speak for 2 weeks, or we gave each other the silent treatment.
Silent treatment. I love that one. That's such a real expression.
It really is. It means ignoring someone on purpose, usually because you're upset with them.
My sister and I are experts at the silent treatment.
Ha, I believe you. Okay, let's move into the evening now. What does your family do after work and school?
Evenings are actually my favorite part of the day with my family.
Why is that?
Because that's when we all sit down for dinner together. No phones. Well, we try not to use phones.
Try not to, so it doesn't always work?
No, not always. My dad is actually the worst one. He always checks his phone at the table, and my mom gets so annoyed.
That's really funny because usually parents complain about their kids being on the phone.
I know, right? In my house, it's the opposite. My mom is constantly telling my dad to put his phone away.
Does he listen?
Sometimes he'll put it away, and then 10 minutes later, it's back out again.
Ha, that sounds like a real ongoing problem, too.
Yeah, we have a lot of those, apparently.
Every family does, honestly. What do you usually talk about at dinner?
Just, how everyone's day went. My mom always asks the same question. What was the best part of your day?
That's a really sweet tradition.
It is. At first, I thought it was kind of cheesy, but now I actually look forward to it.
Cheesy meaning a little too sweet or dramatic, right?
Right. Like overly sentimental.
Good use of that word, by the way.
Thanks. I learned it from a show I was watching.
Nice. Learning vocabulary from shows is a great method. So tell me, does your family have any other evening habits, like watching TV together or something like that?
We used to watch a drama together every night, but lately everyone's just been on their own phone after dinner. My mom watches her own shows, my dad reads news, my sister is on social media.
So even though you eat together after dinner, everyone kind of separates.
Yeah, that's actually a really good way to put it. We come together and then we drift apart again.
Drift apart. I love that expression. It usually means slowly becoming less close, but here you're using it more physically, like literally moving to different rooms. Either way, it works.
Oh, nice. So it can mean both.
Exactly. Okay, so before dinner, during dinner, after dinner, do you feel like your family is close overall, even with all these little problems?
Yeah, honestly, I do. I think even with the rushing in the morning, the busy afternoons, the phone at dinner, we still make an effort.
Making an effort, that's key.
Yeah, like my mom always says, family isn't about perfect time together, it's about showing up.
That's beautiful, actually. Showing up, meaning being present, even when it's not perfect.
Exactly.
Can I share something too? My family had a similar issue growing up. My parents worked really long hours, so we almost never had breakfast together, kind of like your family.
Oh, really? What did you guys do?
We started something called Sunday breakfast, just one morning a week where everyone had to be at the table, no excuses.
Oh, that's smart. Did it actually work?
It did, surprisingly. It became this little tradition we all looked forward to.
Maybe I should suggest that to my mom. A Sunday breakfast tradition.
I think she'd love that.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna text her about it later.
I like that this conversation is turning into real advice for your family.
Me too, honestly.
Let's talk about mistakes for a second, since we're both sharing personal stories. I actually made a mistake with my own family a few years ago. I moved to another city for work, and I didn't call home enough. My mom told me later that she felt forgotten.
Oh, that must have been hard to hear.
It really was, but it taught me something important. Staying close to family takes effort. It doesn't just happen naturally.
That's so true. I think I take my family for granted sometimes, honestly.
Quick correction. Take for granted is the correct phrase, and you used it perfectly. It means not appreciating something because it's always there.
Oh, good. I actually wasn't sure if I used that right.
You did. Nicely done. Okay, let's talk about opinions now. What's your opinion? Is it more important to see family often or to have deep conversations, even if it's rare?
That's tough. I think I'd say deep conversations, even if they're rare, are more valuable to me.
Really? Why?
Because quantity doesn't always mean quality, you know? I'd rather have one real conversation a week than see someone every day but never really talk.
That's an interesting opinion. I actually disagree a little.
Oh, yeah? Why?
I think small, everyday moments build the foundation. Like your mom knocking on your door every morning. That's not a deep conversation, but it shows care every single day.
Huh, I never thought about it that way. So you're saying the small moments add up.
Exactly. They add up over time.
That actually makes a lot of sense. Maybe it's not one or the other. Maybe it's both.
I think you just answered your own question.
I guess I did.
Let's do a quick recap of the 3 main habit problems we found in your family today.
Okay, let's see. Number 1. No time for breakfast together in the morning.
Right, an ongoing issue caused by everyone rushing.
Number 2. Not enough time to really connect during the day, especially with my grandma.
Yes, That gap you mentioned.
And number 3, stress leading to arguments with my sister, like during Grandma's illness.
Exactly. Stress pushing people apart instead of pulling them together.
Wow, saying it all out loud like this, I realize my family has more going on than I thought.
Every family does, Jack. That's what makes this topic so relatable for our listeners, too.
Yeah, I bet a lot of people listening are nodding along right now.
I hope so. Okay, before we wrap up, let's do a little shadowing practice. I'll say some short sentences and you can repeat them out loud, and our listeners can repeat too.
Okay, let's do it.
She's the glue of the family.
She's the glue of the family.
We didn't speak for 2 weeks.
We didn't speak for 2 weeks.
Don't take it out on me.
Don't take it out on me.
I take my family for granted sometimes.
I take my family for granted sometimes.
We drift apart after dinner.
We drift apart after dinner.
It's an ongoing problem.
It's an ongoing problem.
Nice job. Those are all short, natural sentences you can use when you talk about your own family.
I'm definitely going to use glue of the family this week.
Ha! Perfect. Okay, Jack, before we finish, let's give our listeners a quick summary of today's useful expressions.
Sounds good.
First expression, the glue of the family, someone who holds everyone together.
Second one, take it out on someone to express anger at someone who isn't really the cause.
And third, take something for granted, not appreciating something because it's always there.
Those are all really useful. I'm going to try to use at least one of them today.
I love that. And here's the practical takeaway for today. Talking about your family doesn't need fancy words. Just describe your morning, your evening, your little problems, and your love. That's more than enough.
That's a really good takeaway. Simple, but true.
Exactly. All right, everyone. That's it for today's episode. Thanks for spending time with us today.
Keep practicing a little English every day.
And we'll see you in the next episode of English Conversation Practice Podcasts.